So I'm going to go back to the stone corroded wall preset that we've been using. Click the check mark again. And we'll use this preset once again to explore some other areas of our Texture Anarchy Explorer interface. A very significant area that we haven't talked about yet is the lighting editor. If I click on the light bulb icon, the lighting editor appears. And the lighting editor is a terrific way to add highlights or to recolor your texture. The lighting editor works especially well with shiny metallic textures, which is one of the reasons I went back to our corroded metal texture. As you can see, this texture has some very distinct white highlights, and it has some distinct dark shadowy areas as well. The lighting editor is less effective with textures that have a more organic quality. For instance, a pattern that looks like sand or a pattern that looks like dull water won't have as many highlights or as many shadows for the lighting editor to play around with. So let's look at the two functions of the lighting editor. And they're functions that sort of cross over each other. They're not necessarily distinct from one another. The lighting editor can have up to 4 different lights, and each of those lights can have a distinct color. As you see, I can add lights and I can also subtract any of these 4 lights. With a purple light now cast onto our rusty texture, when I click the OK button, you'll see that a slight purple as well as a very bright white color has been diffused over our texture. If I go back into the lighting editor and turn off this purple light and click OK, you'll see that the bright white diffusion is still apparent and affecting our texture, but the purple highlight is now gone because the purple light has been removed. And if I remove one of the 2 white lights, leaving only a single pale white light, and click OK, you'll see that the appearance of highlights and shadows has returned to our texture. If I go back into the lighting editor and make this white light into a single red light, you can see that the coloration of the texture has been completely blown away by the red light. If you use the lighting editor to create highlights and shadows, the lights can serve to add to the feeling of a 3-dimensional texture. If we go back into our lighting editor and make our single light back into a white light and experiment with where that light sits and how close it sits to the texture surface, as we move this light around, notice where the highlights and the shadows appear. The highlights and the shadows are moving along with the placement of our single white light. And if I increase the spread or the diffusion of that light, we get a brighter, harder highlight to our texture. As I mentioned, the lighting editor allows you to set up to 4 lights, and being able to set multiple lights is pretty useful to simulate realistic imagery. For instance, oftentimes you'll be in a room or see imagery in which one light creates a strong, sharp spotlight effect, while a second light, perhaps a colored light, creates a diffuse ambient light. Having multiple lights can allow you to create very subtle and often very interesting effects. And if you click on the triangle in the lighting editor and bring up your light menu, you'll notice that there is a load and save preset area. If we go to our load preset, we've created a number of single color, 2 color, 3 color, and 4 color lighting presets, as well as some metallic and moonlight special effects. So if, for instance, we go to our 4-point light category and load in our Warm It Up preset, clicking the check mark to say OK, when I hit the OK button of the lighting editor, you'll see that I've created a very distinct lighting effect.